When we announced the closure of our mosque almost 2 weeks ago, we also said that we should only reopen our mosque when it is safe to do so and in a responsible way. Safe for all mosque congregants and their families, and also responsible in taking all the necessary precautions, and particularly safe and social distancing to minimize any risk of the spread of the virus, and also to prevent a cluster from breaking out in our mosque. At that time, there were less than 200 cases in Singapore. But the number now stands, as of yesterday, at 509 cases with 2 deaths. Therefore, the situation clearly has not improved, but has instead worsened, and the curve in relation to the infections has risen sharply. And the situation is a lot more dire in other parts of the world, where both the number of infections and deaths have risen, and in sharp spikes, including in the Sri Petaling Mosque in Selangor. In many Muslim countries, for example, the authorities have taken the decision to close the mosque and suspend prayers in the mosque. Even in the 2 holy mosques in Mecca and Medina, worshippers are not allowed to conduct the prayers in those 2 holy mosques. Therefore, it is very clear that in this moment, it is everyone's priority to stay safe and protect your loved ones. And for Muslims, this too is our priority. We have therefore consulted the Fatwa Committee, or known as the Legal Committee, to determine the right thing to do religiously with regards to our mosque. The Fatwa Committee met yesterday and had a very close look at the situation, noting with deep concern that the situation remains critical and there is a real risk of infection amongst mosque congregants if we just reopen our mosque in the context of the rising number of cases taking place in Singapore. Since mosques were closed on the 13th of March, the Fatwa Committee notes that there hasn't been any signs of improvement in the situation, but the situation has worsened. In as much as we all yearn as the Muslim community to return to our mosques to perform congregational prayers, whether it is the daily prayers or Friday prayers, the committee was unanimous in its view that it is unsafe to reopen our mosque now. This is also confirmed by our mosque leaders and staff in the mosque, who feel that given the current circumstances, opening mosque for congregants to return carries a lot of risk. So the only responsible and right thing to do now is to do everything necessary to prevent infection, which is not to gather in large congregations. As such, the Fatwa Committee is of the view that there is a need for mosques to remain closed and for congregational prayers to remain suspended until there are significant improvements as advised by the Ministry of Health. The committee is guided in its decision by many religious principles and fundamentals that apply in a situation like we are in right now, where our religious priorities are A, to avoid all forms of harm, and B, to close all doors that can lead to danger and harm. And these principles should not be applied only when harm and danger have occurred, but also to prevent them from happening in the first place, or from worsening. Insofar as observing the congregatory prayers, more specifically Muslim law recognizes that illness and fear for one's safety are valid reasons to not hold or observe such prayers. So therefore, it is very clear that our circumstances today do not allow for congregational prayers in mosques to be held yet. The committee also wishes to clarify there's a concern about not attending Friday prayers more than 3 times, that the Friday prayers itself is not obligatory in this context, so there is no issue of missing those Friday prayers for Muslims. I've explained this in the previous media briefing about the prevalent misunderstanding that you should not skip 3 consecutive Friday prayers, because this is not applicable in our situation right now, where good reasons do not permit Friday prayers to be conducted in the first place. It's also very important for me to share with members of the media and also the community that The Fatwa Committee, comprising of our senior religious scholars and leaders in Singapore, is with the community in feeling a deep sense of and a longing for congregation, a deep sense of loss and a longing for congregation, because being together in worship is a very important part of our religious life. Indeed, in times of certain uncertainty and crisis, many draw closer to their religion as a source of comfort. But we do not have a choice in this regard. We must adapt to the difficult circumstances that we're in and think of togetherness and community in different ways today. We are connecting a lot more through online means. We have seen how the community have responded very well to online religious lectures and reminders. They have logged in and sharing their views and appreciating all those efforts. We are also spending a lot more time with our families. But I think more importantly, we must keep each other in our daily thoughts and prayers. And our togetherness and sense of community must remain strong in our hearts, even as we have to keep physically distant and keep away from our mosques when they are closed. When we truly care for and we cherish one another and go all out to protect them, our connectedness becomes more meaningful, even if we do not see each other as often. So I therefore hope that the community does not see this decision as denying them the opportunity to pray in our mosque, but instead as part of their social responsibility to help keep everyone safe. This is your significant contribution. It is about protecting our society and nation. And I wish to encourage our Muslim community that in doing their bit to keep everyone safe, in and of itself, they are doing one of the noblest things they can as Muslims. It is as deeply spiritual as standing before God in prayer in a congregation. Because in doing so, we are exemplifying one of the greatest religious virtues taught by Islam, as the Quran says in chapter 5, verse 32, and if anyone saved alive, it is as if they have saved the life of all of humanity. I wish to end with the emphasis that right now our priority is to keep everyone healthy and safe as we go through this challenge of the spread of COVID-19. Thank you.